Captain Dae-ho Kim felt his heart beating fast as he looked out the window of his spaceship. The bright lights of the alien space station grew bigger and bigger. The station was huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. It looked like a giant crystal floating in space with lights dancing across its surface. The spaceship Taguk was small compared to the alien station, but it was the best Earth could make. After 50 years of building and planning, this was humanity's first trip to meet other races in the galaxy. Dae-ho looked around at his crew and felt proud. These were Earth's smartest and bravest people. Dr. Haewon Park was checking her scientific equipment one more time. She had studied alien biology for 20 years, even though she had never seen a real alien. Her hands shook a little as she prepared her research tools. This meeting could change everything humans knew about life in the universe. So-min Lee sat quietly reading through diplomatic protocols. She had learned 17 different alien languages and studied their cultures for years. Her job was to make sure humans made a good first impression on the Galactic Federation. She knew this was the most important conversation in human history. Jinwoo. Choi was in the engine room making sure everything worked perfectly. He had designed many of the systems that let humans travel between stars. His engines were not as advanced as alien technology, but they had brought the crew this far safely. The space station grew larger as they got closer. Dae-ho could see other alien spaceships docked at the station. Each ship looked completely different from the others. Some were long and thin like needles. Others were round like balls. One ship seemed to be made of living plants with roots and branches growing from its hull. A voice spoke in the ship's communication system, but it was not a voice like humans make. It sounded like music mixed with the sound of wind through trees. The ship's computer translated the alien words, "Welcome humans of Earth, please dock at port 73. You are expected in the council chamber." Dae-ho guided the ship to the docking port. The airlock connected with a soft thud. He took a deep breath. This was it, the moment. Humans would meet the galaxy. The crew walked through the airlock into the alien station. The hallways were tall and wide, much bigger than needed for humans. The walls glowed with soft blue light that seemed to come from inside the metal itself. Strange symbols floated in the air, showing directions in languages the humans could not read. They followed a guide that looked like a tall, thin person, but with skin like glass. The guide did not speak but pointed the way with long fingers. The crew could see through parts of its body to watch its heart beating with blue light. The council chamber was enormous. It was shaped like a ball with seats arranged in circles going up to the ceiling. Hundreds of different alien beings sat in the seats. Each one looked completely different from all the others. Some aliens looked like tall trees with faces in their bark. Others were like clouds of glowing gas floating in glass containers. Some had many arms and legs while others had no body at all, just floating lights that changed colors when they communicated. The humans were led to a small platform in the center of the chamber. All the alien eyes turned to look at them. Dae-ho felt very small, surrounded by so many strange beings. At the top of the chamber sat something that hurt to look at directly. It was like looking at lightning trapped inside geometric shapes. This was the Elder, the leader of the Galactic Federation. The Elder spoke, but not with sound. Instead, the words appeared directly in the humans' minds. Welcome beings from the third planet of the Sol system. You have come to request membership in our federation. Dr. Haewon stepped forward and began to speak about human achievements in science. She explained how humans had learned to split atoms, harness electricity, and travel to other worlds. She showed pictures of human cities, art, and technology. So-min Lee spoke about human culture and values. She explained how humans had learned to work together and solve problems. She talked about human desires for peace and knowledge. The aliens listened quietly. Some made soft musical sounds. Others flashed different colors. A few of the rock-like beings made clicking noises that the computer said meant interest. When the humans finished their presentation, the chamber became very quiet. The Elder seemed to be thinking or maybe talking to other aliens in ways humans could not hear. Finally, the Elder spoke again. The words in their minds felt heavy and sad. Humans of Earth, your species shows intelligence and creativity. Your achievements are notable for such a young race. However, we must deny your request for membership in the Federation." Dae-ho felt his heart drop. Why, he asked out loud. "We have shown that we are peaceful. We want to learn and share with other races." The elder continued. "Your species evolved on a world that is hostile beyond our understanding. Your gravity is crushing. Your magnetic fields are violent. Your atmosphere contains gases that would kill most Federation species in minutes." But Dr. Hae-won protested. "We can adapt. We can wear protective suits. We can modify our biology." "The problem is not adaptation," the elder replied. "The problem is contamination. Every species in our Federation evolved on worlds, within acceptable parameters. Earth is an extreme world outside all known safe ranges. You are products of conditions so harsh that your very presence threatens our careful balance." The elder showed them images of Federation worlds. They were all similar, with low gravity, thin atmospheres, and weak magnetic fields. Beautiful, peaceful places where delicate beings could live safely. "Your species," she continued, "carries within your biology the marks of your hostile world. You are too dense, too strong, too resistant to conditions that would properly weaken other beings. You cannot help but be dangerous to our members. So Min." Lee tried to argue. They could set up special areas where humans would not contact other species directly. But the elder was firm. "We have studied your world through long-range sensors," she said. "We have seen your storms that would destroy our cities, your earthquakes that would shatter our bones. Your very biology adapted to survive what we consider apocalyptic conditions. We cannot risk exposure to beings forged in such extremes." The chamber filled with sounds of agreement. Musical tones, clicking rocks, and flashing lights all said the same thing. The Federation was afraid of humans, not because they were evil, but because they came from a world too dangerous for other life. Dr. Hae-won tried one more time. "What if we prove we can control our strength? What if we show we can be gentle?" The elder responded sadly. "You cannot change what your world made you. Humans evolved in conditions so extreme that you do not even recognize them as extreme to you. They are normal. This is why you cannot join us. Your normal is our impossible." The meeting ended with the Federation giving the humans supplies for their journey home. They were told to return to their isolated world and never venture into Federation space again. Earth was too dangerous and humans were too adapted to danger to be allowed among peaceful species. As the Taeguk undocked from the station, Dae-ho looked back at the beautiful crystal structure. They had come seeking acceptance and friendship. Instead, they found fear and rejection. The galaxy had judged them not for their failures, but for the very world that made them who they were. The crew sat in silence as they began the long journey home. Each of them wondered what this meant for humanity. Would they be alone forever? Were they really too dangerous for the peaceful galaxy around them? Dr. Hae-won stared at her unused research equipment. "So Min." Lee put away her diplomatic materials. Jin-woo Choi set the engines for Earth, feeling like he was taking his people back to a prison. None of them knew that this rejection would become humanity's greatest opportunity. The galaxy feared human strength, but it had not yet learned that this strength could solve problems no other species could handle. The universe that denied them would soon discover it needed them more than they needed it. But for now, the small human ship headed home through empty space, carrying the weight of galactic rejection and the seeds of future triumph. 3 months had passed since the Taeguk returned to Earth with news of humanity's rejection. The whole world felt the disappointment. Scientists stopped their alien contact research. Politicians canceled space exploration budgets. Many people wondered if humans should just give up on the stars. But some humans kept watching the skies. Mi Young-han was one of them. She worked at Luna Station, the human base on Earth's moon. Her job was to watch for objects coming toward the solar system. Most days, she saw nothing but empty space and distant stars. On Tuesday morning, Mi Young noticed something strange on her sensors. A new object was moving toward Earth, but it was not a rock or ice ball like most space objects. This one was made of metal, and it was moving in a straight line. Mi Young called her boss, Admiral Kyung-soo Park, on Earth. The admiral was old and tired after the Federation rejection, but he still cared about protecting humanity. When Mi Young told him about the strange object, his eyes became sharp and focused again. "Send me all the data." He said, "I want to know everything about this object, where it came from, what it's made of, and why it's heading toward us." The data showed something amazing. The object was clearly artificial, made by intelligent beings, but it was not from any species humans knew about. It was bigger than human spaceships, but much smaller than Federation vessels. More interesting was its condition. The object was badly damaged. Parts of it were missing, and it was spinning slowly as it drifted through space. Whatever had happened to this ship had happened far from Earth. Admiral Kyung-soo made a decision. "Send Captain Yoonji Nam and her salvage team. I want that ship brought back for study. This might be our first real look at alien technology." Captain Yoonji Nam was perfect for this mission. She had spent years rescuing damaged human ships in dangerous conditions. Her crew was small but skilled. They knew how to work in space and handle unknown situations. The salvage ship Reclaimer left Earth orbit and headed toward the mysterious object. It took 2 days to catch up to the drifting alien vessel. When they got close, Yoonji gasped at what she saw. The alien ship looked like it had been through a terrible battle. Large holes were torn in its hull. Scorch marks covered its surface. Some parts were completely missing, floating away as debris. But the ship was still mostly in one piece. Its basic structure was intact. The hull was made of materials humans had never seen before. It seemed to bend light in strange ways, making the ship hard to look at directly. "We can board it," said Taemin Jo, the team's engineer. "The main airlock looks damaged, but I can cut through the hull. The atmosphere inside is gone, so we will need our suits." The team prepared carefully. They had no idea what they might find inside an alien ship. The species could be hostile, or the ship might have dangerous technology, but they were curious and brave. Yoonji led the team through a hole cut in the ship's hull. Inside, they found corridors designed for beings much different from humans. The ceilings were low and curved. The walls had strange patterns that seemed to move when not looked at directly. They found the crew quarters first. The beds were too small for humans and shaped strangely. The walls were covered with pictures of a world with purple skies and floating mountains. This was clearly not a human ship. In what seemed to be the control room, they found the crew. The aliens were small and delicate, with large eyes and thin limbs. Their skin was pale blue and seemed to glow slightly, even in death. They had died from lack of air when the ship was damaged. Dr. Yoona Kim, the team's xenobiologist, carefully examined the alien bodies. "These beings evolved on a world very different from Earth," she said. "Their bones are hollow like bird bones. Their muscles are designed for low gravity. They could never survive on our world." But the most important discovery was in the cargo holds. The ship was carrying more than trade goods. It had star charts, thousands of them showing locations throughout the galaxy. Taemin worked to translate the alien computer systems. What he found changed everything. The charts showed abandoned facilities scattered across hundreds of star systems, mining stations, research outposts, industrial complexes, all sitting empty. "Why would they abandon so many places?" asked Yoonji. The answer was in the ship's logs. The alien crew called themselves Kalani, and they were traders who bought and sold information about abandoned sites. The logs explained why so many places were empty. Most galactic species could not handle extreme conditions. High-gravity worlds with valuable metals sat untouched because normal aliens could not work there. Radioactive asteroids full of rare elements were avoided because the radiation would kill standard galactic life. Planets with thick atmospheres or extreme temperatures remained unexplored. Industrial sites in dangerous locations were built and then abandoned when the conditions proved too harsh for normal workers. "What we think of as extreme might be normal for us," said Dr. Yoona as she studied the data. These aliens abandoned places that might be perfectly fine for humans to work in. The team spent 3 days going through the alien ship. They found detailed information about hundreds of abandoned sites. Some were mining operations on high-gravity worlds. Others were research stations in radioactive systems. A few were industrial complexes in areas with dangerous space weather. Each abandoned site represented resources that no galactic species could safely access. heavy metals needed for advanced technology, rare elements essential for space travel, energy sources that could power entire civilizations, all sitting empty because the galaxy considered them too dangerous to approach. When the reclaimer returned to Earth carrying the alien ship and its data, Admiral Kyung-soo called an emergency meeting. The best scientists, military leaders, and government officials gathered to study the findings. The implications were enormous. While the Galactic Federation saw humans as too dangerous for civilized society, they had also unwittingly revealed that the galaxy was full of untapped resources that only humans might be able to access. Dr. Haewon Park, who had been depressed since the Federation rejection, became excited again. "This changes everything," she said. "The galaxy rejected us because we evolved on an extreme world. But that extreme world might be exactly what we need to access places they cannot go." Some officials wanted to be cautious. They worried about alien laws and Federation rules. But others saw opportunity. If the galaxy would not accept humans as equals, then maybe humans should prove their worth by doing what no other species could do. Admiral Kyung-soo made the final decision. "We will study these sites carefully," he announced. "We will pick the safest ones and send small teams to investigate. If humans can succeed where the galaxy failed, then maybe they will start to see us differently." The alien ship in Earth's orbit became humanity's most important research project. Teams of scientists, engineers, and military experts studied every detail. They learned about galactic technology, trade routes, and most importantly, about the limitations that kept other species from accessing dangerous but valuable locations. For the first time since the Federation rejection, humans had hope. They were still alone in the galaxy, but now they knew they might not stay that way forever. The universe had rejected them for being products of an extreme world, but that same extreme world might be their ticket to proving they belonged among the stars. The abandoned sites beckoned like opportunities waiting to be claimed. If humans could succeed where others failed, they might earn respect through capability rather than acceptance. The galaxy had closed its doors to Earth, but it had also unknowingly shown humans a way to prove their worth. 6 months after finding the alien ship, Earth was ready to take its biggest risk yet. Commander Bo-Ra Seo stood on the bridge of the mining vessel, prospector watching a strange asteroid grow larger on her screen. This was no ordinary space rock. This asteroid glowed with dangerous radiation that would kill most galactic species in minutes. The asteroid contained trilithium, the most valuable substance in the galaxy. Every faster-than-light engine needed trilithium to work. Without it, no species could travel between stars. But this particular asteroid had been abandoned by its original miners decades ago. The radiation was simply too dangerous. For humans, the radiation was manageable. Not safe exactly, but something they could handle with proper equipment. The same hardy biology that made them unwelcome in galactic society might let them work where others could not. Bo-Ra looked at her team with pride. These were volunteers who knew the risks. Engineer Soo-Jin Park was barely 25, but she understood alien technology better than anyone. Geologist Jae-hyun Lee had studied the asteroid data for months. Safety officer Min Ho-an had designed new protective suits specifically for this mission. The abandoned Vorthak mining station orbited the asteroid like a metal skeleton. Its builders had been forced to leave when 3 workers died from radiation poisoning in a single week. What killed them would be uncomfortable for humans but not deadly. "We are approaching the station," said pilot Chang-woo Kim. "The docking bay looks intact, but I am reading massive radiation levels throughout the structure." "That is exactly what we expected," replied Bo-Ra. "The Vorthak could not handle it, but we can dock us carefully and let's see what they left behind." The station was eerily quiet as the human team explored its corridors. Warning signs in alien languages covered every wall. The symbols were different, but the meaning was clear. Danger. Deadly radiation, do not enter. Soo-Jin Park laughed as she read the warnings. What they call deadly. "We call Tuesday," she said, checking her radiation detector. "The levels are high, but well within human tolerance. Our suits will keep us safe for days." The mining equipment was still in place. The Vorthak had left everything behind when they fled. Massive boring machines sat frozen in the asteroid's tunnels. Ore processors waited empty for rocks to crush. Transport ships hung unused in the stations. Most impressive were the trilithium deposits. The asteroid was rich with the precious material. More trilithium than Earth had ever seen, enough to power human spaceships for centuries. But it sat untouched, because the galaxy considered it impossible to mine. Sujin worked to restart the alien mining equipment. Her young hands moved confidently over controls designed for very different beings. The Vorthak were tall and thin with multiple arms, but their machines could be adapted for human use. Within hours, she had the first boring machine working. It carved into the asteroid like a knife through butter, pulling out chunks of trilithium-rich rock. The ore processors came online next, crushing rock and separating the valuable trilithium from worthless stone. The human team worked 12-hour shifts mining more trilithium in their first week than the Vorthak had managed in months. The radiation that drove away the original miners was just another workplace hazard for humans used to dangerous conditions, but their success did not go unnoticed. A week into the operation, the station's long-range sensors detected an approaching ship. It was a Galactic Federation patrol vessel sent to investigate reports of unauthorized activity in the restricted zone. Commander Wan Sik. Yang received the incoming transmission from the alien ship. "This is Federation Patrol Ship Harmony. Commander Veltar speaking. You are ordered to cease all activity and evacuate the restricted zone immediately." Bora responded calmly. "This is Commander Bora, CEO of the Earth vessel Prospector. We are conducting mining operations on an abandoned station in unclaimed space. We have broken no laws." The alien commander sounded frustrated. "You do not understand human. The asteroid is classified as a death zone. No living being can survive there. You must leave immediately for your own safety." "We appreciate your concern," replied Bora. "But as you can see, we are surviving quite well. We have been working here for a week without problems." The Federation ship maintained its distance. The crew could not board the station to investigate without exposing themselves to deadly radiation. They could only watch helplessly as humans worked in conditions that would kill them. Days passed with the Federation ship keeping watch. More alien vessels arrived, including a Vorthak science ship. The original builders wanted to see how humans could work where they could not. The situation grew tense when the Vorthak captain demanded that humans stop mining their claimed territory. Bora pointed out that the territory had been abandoned for 20 years, with no attempt at reclamation. Under galactic law, it was open for anyone to use, but no one else can use it, protested the Vorthak captain. "The radiation makes it impossible." "That is not our problem," said Bora. "If you wanted to keep it, you should not have abandoned it." The deadlock broke when Dr. Jae-hyun Lee made an offer to the watching alien ships. He proposed a deal: Earth would share the trilithium with any species willing to establish trade relationships. The catch was simple: negotiations would take place on the asteroid in the radiation that humans found manageable. The first species to accept were the cybrids, mechanical beings whose robotic bodies provided some protection from radiation. Their representative, a being called Unit 7, came aboard the station wearing heavy shielding. The negotiations took place in the mining station's conference room. Unit 7 could barely move in its heavy protective gear, while Bora sat comfortably in light radiation suits. The difference was obvious. Unit 7 was struggling to survive while the human was relaxed. "You work in conditions that would kill most of us," said Unit 7. "Why does your species seek to prove superiority through suffering?" "We do not seek to prove anything," replied Bora. "We simply work where we can survive. Your species builds wonderful machines. Ours survives in dangerous places. Perhaps we can help each other." The first trade agreement was signed that day. The cybrids would provide advanced technology in exchange for trilithium mining services. It was a small deal, but it established an important principle. Humans were not begging for acceptance. They were offering valuable services. Word of the successful trade spread through the galaxy. More species began to reconsider their opinion of humans. The beings they thought were too dangerous for civilized society were proving capable of accessing resources. The galaxy desperately needed other alien ships approach the asteroid over the following weeks. Each one stayed at a safe distance watching humans work in the deadly radiation. Some began sending messages to their governments, suggesting that maybe humans were not a threat but an opportunity. The mining operation expanded as Sujin and her team brought more equipment online. They established permanent quarters on the station and began planning long-term operations. The asteroid that had been worthless to the galaxy was becoming humanity's first successful space business. Commander Bora stood in the station's observation deck, watching alien ships patrol at a safe distance. 6 months ago, these same species had rejected humanity for being too adapted to extreme conditions. Now they watched with fascination as those same adaptations let humans work where no one else could. The galaxy had tried to isolate Earth by declaring humans too dangerous for normal society. But isolation worked both ways. If other species could not handle human conditions, then they could not compete with human capabilities in extreme environments. The asteroid operation proved that human rejection from galactic society might actually be humanity's greatest advantage. The universe had tried to lock them out, but had accidentally shown them a door that only they could open. As trithelium flowed into human ships and alien trade offers arrived daily, Bora realized something important had changed. The galaxy no longer saw humans as dangerous contaminants. They were beginning to see them as valuable partners who could do what no one else could do. Earth was still alone, but now it was alone by choice rather than force. The galaxy was starting to need humanity more than humanity needed the galaxy. The distress signal reached Earth on a quiet Thursday morning. The message was weak and full of static, but the computers could translate it. This is research vessel Nexus Explorer requesting immediate assistance. We have crashed on planet designation Kepler 447. Gravity and atmospheric conditions prevent evacuation. Multiple casualties. Need help urgently. Captain Junho. Yu was eating breakfast when the emergency call came through. He dropped his coffee and ran to the command center. The message was from a Federation science ship carrying researchers from 12 different alien species. Their ship had suffered engine failure and crashed on one of the galaxy's most dangerous worlds. Admiral Kyung-Soo Park called Junho immediately. "This is our chance," he said. "The galaxy has been watching our mining operations with interest. Now they need our help. If we can rescue these scientists, it will change everything." The planet Kepler 447 was everything humans had learned to expect from extreme worlds: gravity 3 times stronger than Earth atmosphere, thick with toxic gases, frequent earthquakes and volcanic activity. The Federation had classified it as completely uninhabitable. For most galactic species, landing there would mean death within hours. But for humans who evolved under Earth's crushing gravity and hostile atmosphere, it was challenging but survivable. Junho assembled his best rescue team. Dr. Hyojin Baek was Earth's leading expert in alien biology and emergency medicine. Woo-Sung Lim had spent years training for survival in impossible conditions. Communications officer Nara Shin could speak 7 alien languages fluently. The rescue ship Indomitable launched from Earth within 6 hours of receiving the distress signal. It was the fastest human vessel designed specifically for extreme environment operations. While Federation rescue ships would need days to prepare for the hostile conditions, humans could respond immediately. News of the rescue attempt spread across the galaxy within hours. Federation news networks began broadcasting live coverage of the mission. Billions of alien beings watched as humans attempted to save lives in conditions that would kill most galactic species. The crashed Federation ship Nexus Explorer lay broken at the bottom of a deep canyon. Its hull was cracked open and its emergency systems were failing. The alien crew inside were slowly dying from conditions their bodies could not handle. Inside the ship, Vorthak, navigator Lyral Thex was being crushed by gravity 3 times stronger than his homeworld. His delicate bones were fracturing under the immense weight. The ship's Nalari engineer, Faizara, existed normally as a cloud of gas, but was being compressed into a dangerous liquid state. The Mordani geologist Keth Nar looked like living rock, but even his stone-like body was cracking under the planet's crushing gravity. The other scientists were in similar conditions, slowly dying from environmental pressure. Their bodies were never designed to handle. When the Indomitable reached the planet, Junho looked down at the hostile surface through his ship's windows. The thick yellow atmosphere swirled with poisonous storms. Volcanoes erupted in the distance, painting the sky with fire. For the human crew, it looked dangerous but manageable. "We can work down there," said Wusong as he checked the atmospheric readings. "The gravity is heavy and the air is toxic, but well within human survival limits. With proper suits, we can operate for days." The rescue team descended to the planet's surface in a specially designed shuttle. The landing was rough as powerful winds buffeted their craft, but human reflexes adapted to Earth's violent weather let them navigate safely. Establishing base camp near the crashed ship, the humans began their rescue operation. Dr. Hyojin entered the alien vessel first to assess the medical situation. What she found was heartbreaking. Beings from 12 different worlds lay dying, from conditions that were merely uncomfortable for humans. The Vorthak navigator could barely breathe under the crushing weight. The gas-form Nalari was slowly solidifying into an unnatural state. Several smaller species had already lost consciousness. Working quickly, Dr. Hyojin began emergency treatments. She had studied alien biology for years but had never tried to save lives of beings so different from humans. Her knowledge would be tested like never before. The most critical patient was Lyral Thex, the Vorthak navigator. His species evolved on a world with gravity. 1/10 of this planet's his bones were breaking, his organs were failing, and he had only hours to live. Nara Shin established communication with the dying alien using translation equipment. Lyral Thex whispered words that the computer could barely translate. "Cannot move, cannot breathe, everything too heavy. Please help, rescue specialist, Changmin." Oh volunteered for the most dangerous part of the mission. He would carry Lyral Thex through 2 miles of unstable canyon terrain to reach the evacuation point. The alien's delicate body could not survive transport in normal conditions. Changmin built a special low-gravity chamber using parts from both ships. It was a crude device that could reduce the gravitational stress on the alien patient, but it was heavy and awkward to carry. The journey through the canyon became a race against time. Seismic activity threatened to bring down canyon walls while toxic storms reduced visibility to almost zero. Changmin struggled with the heavy chamber, while navigating terrain that would kill most galactic beings. For hours, Federation viewers watched as a human risked his own life to save an alien who came from a species that had rejected humanity. The sight of Changmin carrying his burden through impossible conditions, while Lyral Thex slowly recovered in the low-gravity chamber, moved billions of galactic citizens. Dr. Hyojin worked miracles with the other patients. She improvised treatments combining human medical knowledge with alien biology. Her emergency procedures saved lives that would have been lost by the time Federation rescue ships could have safely approached the planet. The Nalari engineer was slowly decompressed back to gas form using modified atmospheric processors. The Mordani geologist was treated with pressure relief techniques learned from human deep-sea diving. Several smaller species were placed in specially modified life support systems. One by one, the alien survivors were evacuated to the orbiting Indomitable. Each rescue required human expertise in extreme conditions. The beings who evolved on gentle worlds could not survive evacuation without human help. The final evacuation took place as the planet's volcanic activity increased. Earthquakes shook the canyon while lava flows threatened to cut off their escape route. The human rescue team worked calmly in conditions that would have panicked most species. When the last alien patient was safely aboard the Indomitable, the galaxy watched Junho address the Federation news cameras from the planet's surface. "We did not save these lives to prove anything," he said. "We saved them because it was the right thing to do. Our world made us strong not to threaten others but to help when help is needed." The rescued scientists became powerful advocates for humanity. Lyral Thex spent his recovery time writing reports about human capabilities. The being who had been slowly crushed by planetary conditions wrote detailed accounts of human skill in extreme environments. Dr. Fee Zara The Nalari engineer, whose gas form had been compressed to near death, spoke to Federation scientists about human medical knowledge. Unit Keith Nar described human rescue techniques that worked in conditions no other species could survive. The rescue operation changed galactic opinion about humanity overnight. The species that had been considered too dangerous for civilized society had risked everything to save aliens in conditions that would kill normal Federation cruise messages poured in from across the galaxy. Some species offered formal apologies for their previous treatment of humans. Others proposed cooperative agreements for future extreme environment operations. Several governments suggested that maybe the Federation had made a mistake in rejecting Earth. Most importantly, the rescue proved that human adaptation to extreme conditions was not a threat to galactic society, but a valuable resource. The same evolutionary pressures that made humans unwelcome in peaceful Federation worlds made them uniquely qualified to help when other species faced environmental disasters. Captain Junho received thousands of messages from alien families thanking him for saving their loved ones. Scientists who had never heard of Earth before the rescue began studying human biology and capabilities. Military leaders reconsidered their assumptions about human strength and endurance. The galaxy had spent decades fearing human contamination of their peaceful societies. But the rescue of the Nexus Explorer showed that human strength could protect rather than threaten the universe that rejected humanity for being too adapted to extreme conditions was learning to value those very adaptations. For the first time since Earth's rejection from the Federation aliens, we're asking to work with humans rather than avoiding them. The rescue operation had transformed humanity from unwanted outcasts to valuable partners in a galaxy full of dangerous places that only humans could handle. The successful rescue operation made some aliens nervous. While many species praised human capabilities, others began to fear what human expansion might mean for galactic balance. The hegemony was a group of species that believed humans were becoming too powerful too quickly. War Chief Vextar of the aggressive Krellian Empire led the Hegemony Alliance. He commanded fleets from 7 different species, all united by fear of human growth. His military council included Sindari pirates, Volthan berserkers, and Nexari war merchants. The hegemony believes humans must be stopped before they become unstoppable. Vextar announced to his followers, "They work in places we cannot go. They rescue people we cannot save. Soon they will control resources we need, and we will depend on them like weak children." The war began without warning on a Tuesday morning. Human mining operation. Titan Base was processing rare metals on a high-radiation moon when hegemony battleships emerged from hyperspace. The attack was designed to be quick and decisive. Colonel Sang-Wook Kim commanded the small human garrison at Titan Base. His force included only 200 soldiers and mining workers against a hegemony fleet of 30 warships. The enemy expected easy victory against what they considered fragile Earth creatures. Major Yu Jin Song was checking radiation levels when the first enemy missiles struck the base. Alarms screamed as explosions rocked the mining facility. Through the observation windows, she could see alien landing craft approaching the moon's surface. The radiation levels that make this moon valuable for mining also make it deadly for most species. Yujin realized as she watched the enemy ships struggle to land, their crews would need heavy, protective suits that would slow them down significantly. Colonel Sang-Wook ordered his troops to defensive positions. The humans wore light radiation suits that barely restricted their movement, while enemy soldiers stumbled under the weight of heavy protection needed to survive the moon's deadly environment. The first ground battle was a disaster for the hegemony forces. Krellian warriors famous for their speed and agility moved like clumsy giants in their protective gear. Human soldiers, who grew up under Earth's crushing gravity, ran circles around them. Sindari pirates tried to storm the mining complex, but their radiation suits malfunctioned in the extreme environment. Within minutes, half their assault force was dead from radiation poisoning. The survivors retreated in panic. Commander Insu Cho led a counterattack that caught the aliens completely off guard. Human forces moved freely across the moon's surface, while enemy troops could barely walk in their cumbersome protective equipment. The battle turned into a rout as hegemony forces discovered they could not fight effectively in the environment. humans considered routine. Their heavy suits restricted vision, limited mobility, and overheated constantly. Their weapon systems struggled with radiation interference. News of the hegemony defeat spread across the galaxy. The species that had been expected to crush human expansion had been humiliated by 200 human soldiers fighting on their home ground. Many neutral species began to reconsider their assumptions about human military capabilities. Vextar was furious at the failure. He assembled a larger fleet with more advanced technology and better protective equipment. This time, he would personally lead the assault on human positions. The war escalated quickly as both sides called for reinforcements. Earth deployed its newly formed Extreme Environment Corps soldiers, trained specifically for combat in hostile conditions. The hegemony brought in their most powerful warships and deadliest weapons. The decisive battle took place at Titan Station, a human research facility orbiting a gas giant with intense radiation fields. Commander Insu Cho commanded the defense against overwhelming hegemony forces. The enemy plan was simple: cut the station's life support systems and force the humans to surrender or die in the toxic environment. They did not understand that humans could survive in conditions that would kill most galactic species. When hegemony forces destroyed the station's atmospheric processors, they expected immediate human surrender. Instead, the defenders sealed their suits and continued fighting. The aliens watched in shock as humans operated normally in an environment that would be instantly fatal to them. The battle raged for 3 days. Human soldiers fought in vacuum and toxic atmosphere while enemy forces struggled with environmental suits that limited their effectiveness. The station that should have been impossible to defend became a fortress that aliens could not take. Hegemony commanders realized their fundamental mistake. They had brought superior numbers and technology to fight in an environment where only their enemies could operate effectively. The war's climax came when the hegemony attempted to destroy Earth itself using a planet-killer weapon. The massive device would generate gravitational distortions that would tear the planet apart. Fighter pilot Yejin Kang volunteered for the suicide mission to destroy the weapon. Her ship was built to handle Earth's extreme gravitational conditions, making it uniquely suited for navigating the weapon's gravitational distortions. As the planet killer charged its weapons, Yejin flew directly into the gravitational maze, surrounding it ships designed for normal space.